been too long. You know, we've been lots of phone calls and Zoom calls. You know, but yeah, now to be back on the circuit, it's cool.
It has been a very long time since Austin, so it's more than 6 months, more than 6 months without racing, which for a racing driver is not perfect.
What a nice feeling! It's so good to be back. It's been 6 long months of waiting. The last time the World Endurance cars gathered together in a pit lane was at the Circuit of the Americas, but now they are back at Spa-Francorchamps. It may be different, the fans may not be here, but they're very much on the minds of the teams and drivers.
It's been a long time that we haven't been at the racetrack. To be back in the pit lane and seeing some competition and a lot of the friendly faces around. Well, we see part of the faces. No, it's been nice to be back. Obviously, we miss the fans. I think that's clear, and it's going to be the same at Le Mans. But we're all very much looking forward to the competition and going racing again.
Nobody can remember being away from racing cars for quite so long. Even off-seasons aren't 6 months. And it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to everything. Not just the new normal, but the old normal too.
When you come back, everything feels very strange. The cars are, you know, your body doesn't, your muscles don't get used to it anymore. It takes a bit longer for you to get into it. I've been trying to do a bunch of simulator racing, so online racing, just to, you know, keep the brain with the rhythm and the car driving thing, but nothing like being back in the car.
And if you're going to come back racing anywhere, high on the list of choices is Spa-Francorchamps, one of the world's legendary racetracks. It rises, it dives, it produces huge challenges with corners like Eau Rouge and Rédillon, Pouhon, and a fabulous uphill run through the flat-out Blanchiment. And then, of course, there's the weather. After 2 sweltering weeks in the Ardennes and after 3 entirely dry practice sessions, it rains right before the cars are due to be released from the pit lane. And so suddenly the all-new starting procedure is going to be different yet again. But whatever the challenges, everybody is ready to take them on.
GT Pro on standby, LMGTM on standby, LMGTM on standby.
Pole position in the GTE AM class went to the number 77 Dempsey Proton Porsche. Indeed, it was a Porsche top 3. In the GTE Pro category, Aston Martin Racing currently have the points lead. But with 3 races remaining, it's still anybody's game. And in terms of pace, Aston and Porsche were right on it. In the end, the 92 car just grabbing the top spot after qualifying. But then a lap was disallowed and suddenly it was an Aston Martin 1-2, until on race day morning the stewards reviewed their decisions and put 92 back on top.
We always thought that it was going to rain at some point in this weekend, and now it happened. So just before the race start is of course not so convenient, but we're starting on pole. We have hopefully some clear space in front of us and a good car. We do see the race drying up towards the end of the race, so yeah, we're looking forward for an interesting race, but hopefully a dry end.
Looking for their third straight win in LMP2, pole sitters in the class, United Autosports. And two of their drivers, Felipe Albuquerque and Phil Hansen, had won for a third straight time in Spa-Francorchamps a week earlier in the European Le Mans Series. But they would be stiff opposition from all their regular rivals. In the LMP1 category, Toyota have a substantial points lead over Rebellion, but there are lots of points still on offer, and Rebellion had the fastest car in the dry around Spa-Francorchamps, grabbing pole position, with the Toyotas lining up second and third. But what would the race bring?
Grateful to be back and grateful to see WEC take all the safety precautions, really take it serious, and do their best job to give us the opportunity to do what we love, you know. So we're here, we're fighting, we're racing, and we're here as one with one goal, and that's to win.
The wet weather tyres were broken out for the first time in more than 9 months as cars headed to the grid. And after track temperatures of nearly 60 degrees in practice, the cold, wet conditions came as a real wake-up call to the drivers. The track was absolutely awash. And that meant even getting to the grid was not as simple as it should have been.
Seems like it's a bit better. Rain in the next 15-20 minutes, and then for 1 hour.
1 minute more on the grid. Race has started behind the safety car.
The field headed away to begin the total 6 hours of Spa behind the safety car to try and figure out where the rivers of water were before they went racing for real. So far though, no repeat of last year's snowstorms, but never trust Spa's weather. Lights out on the safety car. Who has done the best job now in keeping the heat in those wet weather tyres? From their fourth pole position, there's the Rebellion in front of us. We ride on board with Sebastian Buemi in Toyota number 8. And don't forget, when they release that hybrid boost at the beginning of the lap, much of that goes to the front wheels on the Toyota. They will have effectively four-wheel drive in the wet. What can poleman Norman Nato do? Rebellion on their fourth pole position. He leads the race across the line. We go green flag racing. Look at the Bicoles. Tom Dillman's yellow and grey car having a good lunge, but Sebastian Buemi does not try the inside line at La Source. The Toyotas go wheel to wheel, and then they release the hybrid drive and absolutely catapult past the car in front. Watch this, Sebastian Buemi, like he's in an entirely different world of grip, on board with the Toyota, and that's when the hybrid comes in on the front wheels as well. So Toyota spear away up the top of the hill at Les Combes. They leave a cloud of spray behind them, and Tom Dillman in the Bicoles chasing for third. Here is our LMP2 leader, Felipe Albuquerque for United Autosports, already starting to pull away. There are the leaders in LMP2, and there is the new leader. That's Maxime Martin, the Belgian driver in the Aston Martin, leading in GTE Pro. He jumped Kevin Estra's pole-sitting Porsche right at the start. Marco Sorensen third in the second Aston Martin. Aston Martin's first ever World Endurance win with this new car came in the rain. Are they going to be able to do the same again? The two Danes, Nicky Thiem and Marco Sorensen in the 95 car, are our points leaders. But Porsche looking for revenge. And here's how it happened. On board with the Aston, the Porsche held up by a couple of tardy LMP2 cars. The Aston spearing by. The Jota Sport car now dropping a spot behind Senior Tech Alpine's number 36 car. Jota using Goodyear's full wet weather tyre for the very first time. And behind them, their sister car, the black and yellow, that's the Jackie Chan DC racing car, also on Goodyear's. Change for third place, Tom Dillman for Bike-College, their first World Endurance race since last year's Le Mans in June. So more than 12 months ago, he's up to third. He's got by the pole sitter. Norman Nato in the number 1 Rebellion is definitely struggling. Is there something wrong with the car or its setup? Well, Nato going wide at La Source, and Tom Dillman taking full advantage. Alessandro Pierguidi having a lunge at Richard Leeds. Down into Rivage. Oh, running out wide, the Aston Martins and Richard Leeds. Alessandro Pierguidi, watch him in the Ferrari, was 5th going into the corner, comes out in 3rd. Well, a change for the lead. Kevin Estra's white Porsche has got in front of Maxime Martin, and now Richard Leeds is eating the spray of Marco Sorensen's 95 Aston. So Richard Leeds goes back 1, but the Ferrari goes up 2. Implacable faces in the Porsche garage. They are in the lead of the race. The Ferrari now runs out wide, way out wide. An entirely different county almost, but look at the speed he brings back down the hill using that momentum. Alessandro Pierguidi didn't panic, kept his head, kept his foot in. There is the battle for 4th and 5th. Marco Sorensen ahead of Richard Leeds. In the second Ferrari, the 71 car in 6th position. Davide Rigon seemingly not making the impression his teammate is. Oh, look at the Porsche, scrubbling for grip. And so too are the Aston Martins. But look, the Ferrari just drives around the outside as if he's on wet tyres and the others are on slicks. So which tyre choices have they made? Battle for 4th place in LMP2, 37 Jackie Chan DC racing car. And right behind him, as the 33 high-class car goes off, right behind with more yellow on it, that's Racing Team Netherlands, Geert van der Garde, attacking Will Stevens in the Jackie Chan DC racing car for 4th position. That's 8th overall from last on the 29 car grid. What did he have for breakfast? Van der Garde just racing away in 4th position and challenging the top 3. Lead battle in the GTE Pro class continues to be Porsche versus Ferrari, and look at how much more grip the Ferrari seems to have. Porsche all over the road here at the bus stop, so the Aston Martins, but Alessandro Pierguidi, wow, I don't know what he's been doing in the 6 months since we last raced, the 9 months since we last raced in the rain, but it is working for him. He's challenging for the lead again. He went out wide, V'd off the hairpin to give himself a straight run down the hill. They're going to go wheel to wheel into Eau Rouge. No, the Porsche has to give way. Alessandro Pierguidi leads for Ferrari. Porsche lead in GTE AM. Great opening stint from Team Project One's Egidio Perfetti in its new livery. 77 car Christian Ried is in 2nd, and the other Project One car in 3rd. Porsche still ruling the GTE AM roost. Oh, massive drama for the race leader. No more boost, and clearly the recovery system is playing up because he's run out of braking there at the bus stop as well. Ooh, Sebastian Buemi, this could be a very long race.
Is it normal now? Is it normal, sir?
I control the energy in turn 18, and I could not accelerate exactly like yesterday when we discussed it.
Yeah, copy that, copy. It was supposed to be fixed. Okay, let's focus back on the race, please.
Oh, trouble for Egidio Perfetti. That's up at Lake Holm, and Christian Ried has sneaked by. As the track dries, maybe the wet weather tyres are now starting to give up. Maybe Egidio just didn't find the grip he was hoping for there. Battle for 2nd place now in LMP2. Andre Negrão for Senior Tech Alpine. And of course it's Geert van der Garde behind him, of course it is. Now bear in mind, these cars started 20 cars apart on the grid. There's Racing Team Netherlands, Geert van der Garde putting in yet another stunning opening stint, shuts off the 36 car at the bus stop, and through he goes. He is now second in class from last on the grid. Geert van der Garde is turning in one of the early star performances in this race. How soon will it be before he catches? Will he catch the race leader? He's 16.7 seconds behind the United car. Well, look again, Geert van der Garde just doing what it takes. The Gulf Racing Porsche staying out of the way. The team are delighted. First round of pit stops as the weather dries. Surely they're not going to go back onto wet weather tyres. You can see the heat haze in the pit lane. Temperatures are good. It's not an Arctic day, but they are going onto wets. Brand new wets. Porsche battle here in GTE Pro. This is for second place. Richard Lietz has been following his teammate for several laps, but the 91 car seemed to be quicker. He's having to fight his way by Kevin Estre. You'd think Estre maybe would let the quicker car go and use some of the slipstream to save a bit of fuel and just to help pull him along. In the end, Richard Lietz makes the move confidently, and through he goes for second. Last in the GTE Pro field at the moment, the 95 Aston Martin has now dropped back from third at the start as the weather has dried. Marco Sorensen, the points leader, has dropped behind Davide Rigon's 71 Ferrari, and not too far in front is his teammate in the 97 car, Maxime Martin. Race leader in the pits after very nearly an hour because the lower fuel consumption behind the safety car and in the rain. Sebastian Buemi still exasperated. No tyre change, just fuel. Off he goes. Number 7 Toyota in the lead at the moment. Pit stops now starting right almost on the hour mark. GTE Pro 92 car comes in. Kevin Estre's going slicks. That looks like the sensible choice. Should be another half hour or so before another band of rain sweeps in. Replay here of our LMP2 leader, fresh out of the pits. Felipe Albuquerque has taken slicks and piff puff. Just finding out there's not quite as much grip as he'd hoped for. Gets away with that though. There's the United Autosports team, teammate Phil Hansen, Gary Robertshaw, the chief engineer closest to us. So it is tippy-toey stuff. On board with the Jota Sport car again at piff puff. Roberto Gonzalez also just getting away with that. Goodyear shod car also on slicks, skidding across the grass. Ferrari stacked in the pit lane. 51 comes in from the race lead. 71 comes in from third, and they too are going for slicks, as is the 91 Porsche of Richard Lietz. 92 Kevin Estre made that stop early, and his lap time's now showing that slicks are the way to go. But did he change too soon? The Ferrari is going to come out ahead and still leading in the class. There's the 92 Porsche. So Richard Lietz will drop behind his teammate again. But will the Porsche get to the Ferrari? I don't think it will. Good pit stop strategy by Ferrari. Built up enough of a lead. Alessandro Pierguidi remains in front, at least for now. But Kevin Estre is coming with a head of steam, and he knows what the conditions feel like on these slicks. 88 Dempsey Proton Porsche. Oh, and there's the Eurasia Motorsport car and a factory Aston. Oh dear, the Porsche overshot coming into the pits. Now the doors open on the 35 car. He has just stopped, but he doesn't realise the door's open. That's not on the driver's side. Oh, trouble. Paul Dall'Anna in the gravel. He's on an outlap as well in the 98 AM class. Aston, he shares with Ross Gunn and new boy Augusto Farfus. Comes into shot backwards. That again is the exit of Piff Paff. Cars swapped ends under braking and turn-in. Safety car. Safety car in for the second time, back to green flag racing. Riding on board with Kevin Estre, there's the GT Pro leader in front of us, Alessandro Pierguidi. They were almost nose to tail after the round of pit stops, and so they remain in the queue of traffic. 97 Aston Martin not far behind. Here comes the Porsche. Down through Eau Rouge. You can see how much drier the line looks, but there's a slower Ferrari, the AM-Class car in front. The Ferrari gets a little bit held up the hill, and here comes the Porsche around the outside. He's got momentum, and he's going to use it to take the lead of the GT Pro class. The high-class car on the inside means the Ferrari can't counter-attack. Savvy work by the Porsche goes early to box the Ferrari in, and Michael Christensen, his teammate, looks jubilant. Look at this busy battle. You can see the GT AM cars with the blue highlights, Christian Reed, the red. Aston behind him is Johnny Adam, taken over from Sally Yolek. And the GT Pro class field trying to make their way through this AM battle as well. 77 and 90, swap places. The 90 Aston goes through for 5th in the class. Alessandro Pierguidi's Ferrari right at the front of this queue. Behind him, Richard Leitz in 91, and Leitz has got the 2 AMR Aston Martins behind him, the Pro Class cars, as they dip in and out of the AM Class battles. Puncture, disaster for the Dane train. The points leaders in GTE Pro have a flat tyre. 1 tyre being changed. Will they do the whole set? No, it is 1 tyre only. Battle for 4th place overall. Felipe Albuquerque has got ahead of Norman Nato in the pole-sitting Rebellion, but Nato, now on slicks, has got more pace. However, they are a long way behind the next LMP1 car, which is the number 4, driven by Tom Dillman for Baicoles. Toyota still 1-2, but a change of order. Number 7 Toyota took slicks at the first pit stops and stays ahead of number 8. Team Project 1, Egidio Perfetti, what an opening stint he is doing as well. Leading from the 86 Gulf Racing car, Ben Barker now taking that car over and taking up the cudgels. They go 3 wide, Porsche, Richard Leitz trying to find a way through the middle. Richard, you're going to have to excuse these guys, they're having their own battle. Ben Barker has taken the lead of the AM class for Gulf Racing. Richard Leitz follows him through past Egidio Perfetti. Here's the Team Project 157 car, Ben Keating. He's got the AF Corsa Ferrari behind him. More quicker traffic coming through, but the Ferrari in the dry and on these slicks now seems to have the pace. The Texan eased out wide as the 35 car goes through. The doors open and through goes Francesco Castellacci in the Ferrari. Lots more multi-class action, and at the front of LMP2, finally Geert van der Garde in the yellow and black Racing Team Netherlands car has caught the leader, Felipe Albuquerque for United Autosports.
All cars with rain lights on in full mode. It's raining at T12.
And the thunderstorms are on their way as the lead battle in LMP2 hits the pit roads. Every second on track is fought for tooth and nail. Every second in the pit lane is equally vital, and the teams know it. United and their Michelin tyre engineer examine the slicks. They're good to go. No tyre changes either for Racing Team Netherlands. Driver change for our race leaders. Number 7 Toyota. Mike Conway out, Kamui Kobayashi is in, and they change from slicks onto wets. Brendan Hartley taking over the number 8 car from Sebastian Buemi, and not changing onto slicks at the first pit stop has cost them the lead of the race. Their brake recovery problems seem to be sorted. They're on wets as well. In comes the number 92 Porsche. GT Pro class leaders, and there's going to be a driver change. Saw the mechanic run round to clean the screen, and Kevin Estre has handed over to Michael Christensen. So Estre's done wet to dry. LMP2 battle for the lead, they're both off. Felipe Albuquerque and Geert van der Garde. Fantastic battling between United Autosports and Racing Team Netherlands. Oh, and van der Garde got it wrong. You know, Rouge had to cut the corner there at Réunion, climbing up this super fast Kemmel straight. And the rain has arrived and swept through Spa-Francorchamps. Slippery conditions for the leaders, but here we go. Gerard van der Garde trying to put the move in. This is for the lead in LMP2 for the first time. He's got his nose in front. Nearly 2 hours into the race, United have been in front, and now Felipe Albuquerque is looking at the tail end of a rival's car. But look at the speed they're going. It's barely walking pace for these cars. Into the pits, United, into the pits, Racing Team Netherlands. They are changing their tyres onto wets as the storm sweeps in. Our race leaders, Toyota 1-2, a minute apart. Still in third place is the Bicoles, and fourth for Rebellion. With the four-wheel traction from the hybrid system and the wet weather tyres, Kamui Kobayashi doing a good job of holding that lead. But let's hear from his teammate, Mike Conway.
I mean, the first stint was quite good, quite tricky in the wet for us. Seb was really strong, but then made the right call on the tyres, and after that, yeah, we were able to extend the stint out pretty well and lap faster than the rest of the guys, even though we have the penalty. I was surprised that we could lap a bit faster, which was good. Gave us a nice buffer.
Project When Porsche, started by Egidio Perfetti, moves up to second as there's a mistake from Ben Barker in the Gulf Porsche. Perfetti started the car. Let's hear what it was like from his view.
I tried to convince the team to switch early on to the slick, and although it was tricky at the very beginning, but that's the choice that paid off, and I think that we were the strongest bronze out there, so I'm very pleased with that.
Replay of Brendan Hartley in the number 8 Toyota, just running out of road a little up the top of the hill at Les Combes. Are their recovery issues all sorted or not?
Information to the pit lane. We are expecting heavier rains coming in. We are expecting heavier rains to come in.
Alessandro Pierguidi back in the lead of GTE Pro. Doesn't seem like he's getting out of the car anytime soon. To hand over to teammate James Collado.
Ale seems quite happy at the moment. Yeah, I mean, we kept him in the car because he's used to the conditions, so we find a few seconds, you know, but yeah, I'll probably get in the next stint. Whether it will be dry or wet, I have no idea, but yeah, the car's performing really well in the rain, so yeah, as long as he's happy, you know, we can carry on.
On board with the 97 Aston Martin, Alex Lynn slices up the inside of our pole-sitting Porsche. That's a change for second place then. Gets ahead of Michael Christensen. Oh, look at him drifting that Aston over the brow and heading down towards Bruxelles. Oh, and again the Aston runs out very wide. Same place they lost positions in the first rainy period. But the Aston Martin team saying they had a wrong tyre choice on. This time it looks like they've got it sorted out better. Oh, great onboard Fuse, being really cautious with the throttle down through Pouhon. Battle for third in GTM, and here is Francois Perotto's Ferrari going by Sally Olek in the Aston. The TF Sport driver was not comfortable on the tyres in the rain in the first stint, is not comfortable on the tyres again. Behind him, Giancarlo Fisichella. The Ferrari's clearly working better. AF Corsa have definitely got a handle on what to do with these cars in the rain. And Fisichella goes through, so from third down to fifth, unfortunately, for Sally Olek. The TF Sport Aston just not quite getting to grips with the tyres in these wet weather conditions. Maybe they need to gain a little information from AMR, whose Pro and AM cars all seem to be dealing better. There's Johnny Adam, who took over from Sally earlier on in the race.
Okay, Brandon, for info, condition should get even worse in the next lap, possibly. So not better for sure.
Well, I don't mean it, the guys. It's really dangerous.
Okay, copy.
When a professional driver like Brendan Hartley says it's really dangerous, you know these guys are having trouble keeping the car on the island. Rebellion still in 4th place, but with a little better pace this time in the rain. Again, they didn't have the tyre set up right at the start.
We knew that with this kind of condition today, it might be difficult. At some point, we didn't have the right shot of tyre on the car. But you know, in this condition, it's always easy after the job has been done to say, okay, we should have done that. So yeah, it's a tricky condition, and it's important to go to the end and take experience.
Race director Eduardo Freitas is deciding it is too tricky now, particularly for the prototypes, throwing out the safety car, and that is going to reduce the lead in LMP2 for Racing Team Netherlands. Job van Uytert has taken the car over from his teammate Guido van der Garde, but the Dutchman produced a stunning opening stint.
We knew that we had to start completely last because of yesterday's qualifying, and that was a big pity. But the pace was unbelievable in the wet, in the dry, the stint, the battle with Albuquerque, the battle with all the other LMP2s. It was really good fun. The car was unbelievable, so yeah, I pushed as much as I could. But unfortunately, again, safety car, so our lead is gone now. So it's up to Job to the rest of the job.
For us, because we are fighting for the championship, I always think I want to keep up with Guido, but at the same time, I want the points for the championship. So I had a lot to lose, so I need to think about that. And it was not nice on some occasions, you know, losing completely the car. But thankfully, everything is in one piece now.
Bright sunshine and the race leaders in the pits, but the track is absolutely awash, and so fresh wet weather tyres are going on the Toyotas. Don't think anybody else will be going for slicks anytime soon either. The Toyotas head out to the pit lane and down towards Eau Rouge.
When I think of fantastic corners I've driven in the world, Arrabbiata 1 and 2 in Mugello, 130R at Suzuka. But here, in Spa, it's got to be Eau Rouge. You come down from La Source hairpin, threading the needle, getting so close to that wall on the right-hand side. Your left-hand tyres here, just on the edge of the curb, not further, because there is actually a curb back there to stop you. And you want to get the line up through Eau Rouge to minimise the scrub on the front tyres, which maximises your acceleration all the way through, taking you up to the top of the hill at Les Combes. From the driver's point of view, you're actually down here, and you get squeezed down in the seat, just in this compression, and then suddenly the car goes light and you start to see the exit of the corner. But when you commit here at over 300 kilometers per hour, you cannot see where you're going to end up. But the precision is all at this point. For the car, oh, the forces are incredible. It's force vertical, and then it's lateral force at this point. You can see the ground where the cars have been bottoming out. For the tyre though, I don't think any driver wants to see what the tyre has to do to be able to keep the car on the track going up the hill. It is something that is terrifying. But this corner itself is still one of the ones. Whether you're a fan standing here, whether you're watching it on television, or whether you're a driver in the car, it just makes you smile.
Back to green flag racing, leading the safety car queue are our GT Pro front runners. Alessandro Pierguidi still at the wheel ahead of the 97 Aston Martin, then the GTE AM battle. 56 Porsche leading the class. That's the white Mentos car from that black and orange car from Gulf Racing. And they have been hard at it since the start of the race, as have these guys. The Aston Martins now with a proper handle on the wet weather performance of the AMR Vantage though. And Alessandro Pierguidi approaching the midway point in the race. When's he going to give James Collado a go? Oh, trouble for our third place car. That is the number 1 Rebellion. They've moved ahead of Baicoles because Baicoles had a problem. Miguel Molina in the 71 Ferrari, the highest that car's been in the race, third in the class, but under threat from the 92 Porsche, who cuts the corner completely in avoidance. Around the outside goes the Porsche. There's a little touch there. The Ferrari doesn't want to give it up. Racing Team Netherlands sneaking through, and behind is the 95 Aston Martin of our championship leaders, Marco Sorensen and Nicky Team. And the 92 Porsche used a lot of out of track limits territory to get by the Ferrari there. LMP2! Off goes the leader at the bus stop. Job van Uitert in the number 29 car, third overall, about to put a lap on the Jota Sport car, runs out very wide indeed. Oh, that was misjudged. 5-second penalty added to the 29 car's next stop. There's Fritz van Aert in the yellow suit. He'll be taking over shortly. Meanwhile, Nicky Team, that's how much the Aston Martin performance is improving. Coming around the outside of the Ferrari up to Les Combes. Does he go through? He does. And there's the United Autosports LMP2 car. Oh, and he has to take the escape road in avoidance because it looked like Phil Hansen was just having a bit of a moment there in 22. Again, look at this. Nicky Team with nowhere to go. Hansen went off in front of him. At least that'll be his excuse. Halfway through the 6 hours of Spa, nearly 75 laps run despite the safety cars. Toyota 1-2 from Rebellion. United Autosports in second to Racing Team Netherlands in LMP2. And it's Ferrari, Porsche, Aston in GTE Pro, with the Gulf Racing Porsche back at the top of a fluid GTE AM class. And that AM class is as hard to read as the pros. Anybody could still win it. Problems for 2 cars. The returning Eurasian Motorsport had an early issue, and Jackie Chan DC Racing had a rear brake fire that cost them plenty of time. Pro leader is in for slicks, 51 Ferrari. No driver change.
There's tendency for a climb. Yeah, copy. So 97 went on wet, 51 on slicks. We're watching lap time. I'll update you.
Busy hands, Michael Christensen. Look at the way the car is slithering around. So a gamble then from Ferrari going early to slicks, and Alessandro Pierguidi still at the wheel. With only 2.5 hours remaining, normally the drivers split it midway through, but Pierguidi clearly feeling he's in charge of these conditions. Porsche lead, Aston Martin 95 second. Replay here, Andrew Watson on his outlap in the Gulf. Porsche almost Paul Dallalana it into the gravel traps. Avoided the wall, he did, just got away with that. So what have Porsche decided to do? Surely it must be slicks, it is slicks. And they are shiny and fresh from the mould for the 92 car. No driver change either. Driver knows the conditions. Just give him better tyres. Let him get on with it. In from second in GTE Pro. Race leader in. Jose Maria Lopez takes over the 7 Toyota with slicks. In comes number 8. Slicks as well for them. And Kaz Nakajima at the wheel.
Yeah, it's been a hectic race with the weather. I was in the car when we had the very heavy downpour. Yeah, the eyes were wide open, but I still couldn't see anything. So it was tough for everyone out there. And actually, I'm quite amazed that we didn't see a big crash in that little time, because it was pretty sketchy out there. And so far, we won 2. It's going clean, and it looks good out.
Well, Toyota look like they're likely to win overall, but in the GTE Pro class, it'll be Ferrari or Porsche. Or Aston Martin lock up from the race leader. The Porsche just grabs a brake and the Aston goes through. Nicky Team is back on top for Aston Martin. Yay, team.
You can push these tires. You can push these tires. We are new tires to the end.
And that is what every driver wants to hear. Give them all you've got. Replay here. This is 36 Senior Tech Alpine retaking second place in LMP2. Phil Hansen dive-bombed him earlier in the lap. Got held up by the Red River Sport Ferrari. And up the hill, through goes the Senior Tech car. Driver changes. Fritz van Aert takes over the Jumbo Supermarkets liveried race leader in LMP2. In comes the number 22 car for United Autosports. They'll be chasing down Racing Team Netherlands. And Paul de Resta takes over from Phil Hansen. Hansen has been trying desperately to save fuel to avoid a splash and dash, and then came right back in to take the lead of the class as they came into the pit lane. Thomas Laurent for Senior-Tech Alpine stopped a lap ago. His tyres are up to temperature. This is for second place then. Out comes Paul de Resta, fresh out of the pits, the first drive in 6 months. And look at the pressure. Laurent down the inside, side by side into Eau Rouge. He can't stay there. He can stay there. And it's legal. Passes over the top Iredion. Through he goes for second position. Do you get a better move than this? Thomas Laurent, what cojones? And Paul de Resta trying desperately to deny the Senior Tech car this move down into Eau Rouge. He gives him just enough room. Oh boy, what racing. Fantastic stuff from both men. And here we go now, a lap on from the pass on the grass. Paul de Resta back with Thomas Laurent down the inside into La Source, launches it, puts the stamp on and sends it up into second. And now the chase begins. Take a look again, de Resta goes late and on the damp, but still gets it turned. Lead battle in LMP2. Fritz van Aert knew this was coming. Professional businessman versus ex-Grand Prix driver. And he is doing another standout job in this car. It's such a great driver lineup since they changed from the Dallara of the first year to this Oreca. Fritz has been a changed man. Through goes Paul de Resta, and that perhaps no surprise, but how much pace can Fritz van Aert cling on to before he hands over at the end to Gerdo van der Garde? Senior-Tech Alpine pit watching with interest. Here comes Thomas Laurent, squeezing through on the inside. Oh, and trouble! Laurent off into the barriers. That is a huge speed impact. And the car nearly goes over. Well, he is okay, but look at the wreckage. Yellow flag, surely we're going to have a safety car. What happens here? They go either side of the Red River Ferrari, and Laurent on the inside, and Fritz van Aert cannot have seen him there. The Ferrari was blocking his view, and Laurent, wow, you don't want many of those in a career. On board.
Yeah, it was a big chance for him. He tried to overtake that Carton 29, and then he take also the GT, so the 29 doesn't see him, so push him a little bit to the grass. And of course, he spun and crashed in a high-speed corner, but we spoke with him a little bit, and he's fine for the moment. Definitely have to go to the hospital now to recheck, but for the moment, he's fine.
Back to green flag racing. Toyota 1-2 overall. In LMP2, United Autosports still leading. The Jota car trying to unlap itself behind the 22 car, but now up to second class, number 42. That's Cool Racing's car. And there it is with the blue nose, Nico Lapierre starting that car. Not too far behind him. Second in the GT Pro class, the 92 Porsche. Going by the Golf car, because just in front there, that's the 97 Aston Martin that leads the GT Pro class. The 95 car there in third, going inside the similar liveried 98 AM class Aston Martin with Augusto Farfus joining that lineup. Last time he raced here at Spa last year, he was a BMW driver. Well, the Aston Martins first and third with the Porsche in the middle. Into the pit lane, Toyota number 8. 40 minutes to go. This should be the final stop. Sebastian Buemi takes over again from Kaz Nakajima. And box fresh slicks going on, trying to attack their teammates for the lead and the win. Oh no, drama inside the final 40 minutes. Collis have had an electrical issue. They've now got a broken exhaust they are going to have to change. Bruno Spengler in the car, his first drive with the team. And it will be potentially a short end to the race for them. Mike Conway leads. The gap was out at over a minute. Safety cars have brought it down to within a few seconds, but he is creeping away now from Sebastian Buemi. Toyota's first and second. The Rebellion in third place on the same lap still, but only just. Number 8 car losing time with 2 electronic issues during the race already. Frits van Aert, number 29, Racing Team Netherlands car, under pressure for second place in the class. And through comes the Cool Racing entry. Into the pit lane, Frits van Aert in Racing Team Netherlands, number 29 car. Geert van der Garde takes over for the remaining 25 minutes to try and hang on to this unlikely seeming podium spot. Frits van Aert, a great stint from him, but of course there was that incident with Thomas Laurent. What did he see of it?
I really didn't see, I didn't feel. And then I didn't know what happened, and then 1 lap later I saw the big accident, the LMP2 car really crashed. But I was happy to hear that the driver was okay. And you know, I'm so sorry, because I know these guys were much faster than I am, but you know, I didn't do it on purpose, it just happened. And I would really like to see the onboards and the videos, what exactly happened, because we have to learn from this.
Oh, Mark Patterson in trouble for high-class racing. Look, he was second in the LMP2 class. Closing stages of the race. Looks like no damage done, though. Yellow flags are out. They'll be brought back in. Let's take a look again. Oh, and he was holding off the Cool Racing car, just rotating a little under braking, carrying in too much speed at the bus stop. Third place, Splash and Dash with 6 minutes to go for the 97 Aston Martin. That's going to cost them a penalty, is it? 51, the Ferrari with James Calado, surely much too close. And I can see a white Porsche in the background. That'll be the 91 car. There's the Ferrari of Calado. There's the 91 Porsche. The Aston Martin is back out in front. This is for the podium. 92 Porsche lead, 95 Aston second, 97 currently third. Maxime Martin at home in Belgium, trying to hold off James Calado in the Ferrari for the podium. I think he's done it. I think he has just done it. Oh, breathtaking stuff. 1 lap shy on fuel, and that's because the number 8 Toyota had to make an additional pit stop behind a safety car to change onto the right tyres. But the Rebellion almost a lap behind is not going to be an issue for a Toyota 1-2. Mike Conway heads towards the flag in the number 7 Toyota. This crew have never won in Spa. Just over 12 seconds left, but he's going to be very close at the line. Make sure you don't have to do another lap, Mike. Nice and gently out of the corner, waft to the line. Wow, a couple of seconds faster through the whole race, and they would have had to do 1 more lap, but it is victory for the number 7 Toyota. They win the total 6 hours of Spa as we go back to racing after a 6-month hiatus. That must feel very sweet indeed for Mike Conway, Kamui Kobayashi and Jose Maria Lopez.
Did a solid job. You know, Jose had a really tough stint and did a really mega stint, and obviously Kamui as well, the mixed conditions, he did a mega job. So it's what we had to do to beat, you know, Sister Car and Rebellion, because we didn't expect to have this.
Victory for the 3rd race in a row in LMP2 goes to United Autosports for Phil Hansen and Felipe Albuquerque, their 4th win together in Spa in 3 seasons. What a race for the team. Our GTE Pro Class winners, Michael Christensen and Kevin Estre. Porsche close a little on Aston Martin in the points, but with a 95 team finishing second, it's not much closer. There are 90 points still on offer though in the remaining races of the season.
No, for sure not easy. We didn't drive on the rain here since a while, and it was 20 degrees less, so difficult to find the right tire pressure. We struggled a bit on the first two stints on the rain, but then we found the right compromise, and our pace on the dry was good. Strategy was perfect, so really happy with this victory.
GTE Am win in the end, going not to a Porsche but to AF Corsa's Ferrari. Francois Perrodo, Manu Collard and Nick Nielsen jubilant with their result. Just the winners of each class were on the mini podium, but our other top 3 teams all received their trophies as well, of course, in the new normal. But for the winners, Toyota in LMP1, United Autosports in LMP2, the 92 Porsche team in GTE Pro and the 83 Ferrari in GTE Am. It was a podium to remember. 6 long months with no racing, and Spa delivered in spades. Confirmation of Toyota's 1-2 result in LMP1 ahead of Rebellion. United Autosports, Cool Racing and Racing Team Netherlands, the podium finishers in LMP2. GT Pro winners, 92 Porsche ahead of Aston Martin in 2nd and 3rd. And in GTE Am, AF Corsa beat the 77 Dempsey Proton car with the TF Sport Aston Martin in 3rd. Just one non-finisher, the unfortunate Seniatech Elf team. And that is it. The next time out, it is the big one, Le Mans.